We promised you guys that we would continue to cover the PlayStation Store's attack of the Blockbuster sale. We already uploaded a video going over some games under $10, but in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the deals that are slightly a little bit more expensive, and some of these games aren't even that much over $10. There are so many tremendous deals as a part of the PlayStation Store's attack on Blockbuster sale. And again, in this video, we're going to be taking a look at 10 more amazing deals, so without further ado, let's get right into this. First up, I think this is the most obvious deal in the entire sale. It's the one deal everybody is seemingly talking about because it is so insane, and that is God of War for $34.79. Now, everybody already knows how incredible of a game God of War is, and it was a game that's been holding up in value. Even on sale, you'll find it for like $45, and then this PlayStation Store sale just hit, and the game suddenly dropped down to $34.79 for PlayStation Plus subscribers, and that is an insane deal. God of War was one of those games when we picked it up day one for $60, you were incredibly satisfied with the game. You would probably pay more than $60 if you could play a game of that similar quality level. I would say, hey, I'd pay $70 or $80 for a game like that, but now that it's available for $34.79, I imagine the majority of you with the PlayStation 4 have already played God of War, but if you have not yet, God of War for this price is too good to pass up. Next up, let's talk about probably the second most talked about deal from this sale, and honestly, it might be talked about a little bit more than God of War, and that is Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition for $11.99. This deal is just insane, maybe even more so than God of War because of how cheap Horizon Zero Dawn has gotten. And bear in mind that this is the complete edition, so you get the base Horizon Zero Dawn game, you get the Frozen Wilds expansion, and it all is coming to you at a low price of $11.99. What a fantastic deal this is, and a great game done by Guerrilla Games, the guys that also did Killzone. Horizon Zero Dawn, of course, a completely different game, a post-apocalyptic open-world action RPG of sorts. Technically, the game looks incredible. There's a lot of content to it, and again, the Frozen Wilds expansion is thrown in there, and that's an additional 10 to 12 hours of content, so a lot to do here. Horizon isn't absolutely perfect, but Guerrilla has set a fantastic foundation to what could be one of PlayStation's more iconic franchises. And now, if you've yet to check out Horizon Zero Dawn, the complete edition for $11.99 is an absolute bargain. Next up, we have Danganronpa 1 and 2 Reload for $19.99. Now, I've always talked up the Danganronpa franchise when I get the chance, and this is the best way to introduce yourself to the franchise. This collection includes Danganronpa 1 as well as Danganronpa 2. Those two games are very much tied together, so you want to play Danganronpa 1 and then you want to play Danganronpa 2. The games themselves are very hard to describe. They're story-driven murder mysteries that are very light on the gameplay, but the stories that you get out of these games are so incredible. Just give the first game like 45 minutes to an hour and you will be absolutely hooked until the very end, and the entire experience can span around 20 hours, so it's a relatively lengthy game, and I'm saying 20 hours for just one game. Then you have the second game to go into, and I think Danganronpa 2 was a better game than Danganronpa 1. Two awesome games here. Yes, they are very zany. If you're not familiar with Japanese games, maybe I would stay away from this for now. Check out some other Japanese games and work your way into games like this, but if you're familiar with Japanese experiences, Danganronpa 1 and 2 are two marvelous games, and I would highly recommend them. You might even see $19.99 as more of a steep price point, but it is absolutely worth that. Next up, speaking of Japanese games, how can I not mention Persona 5 for $29.99? Persona 5's praises has been sung so much, and if you're a fan of Japanese games, this is an absolute essential experience. Honestly, Persona 5 is one of those games, even if you're not into Japanese games, I would give it a look because the art style and presentation is so captivating that yes, while some of the story elements do follow that Japanese pattern, it is still a game that is hard not to be captivated by. From the music, the visuals, the design, the gameplay, it's all done so well, and the story itself is very good. It's elite in every category when you look at Japanese RPGs. There's a reason why this is heralded as one of, if not the best JRPG of all time, and for $29.99, you're getting north of 100 hours of gameplay. It is an absolute steal. Next up, we have Burnout Paradise Remastered for $14.99. Now, Burnout Paradise Remastered was a game that I was very vocal about my displeasure with it, that it was being released at $39.99. Yes, I love Burnout Paradise, but this was a game that was released over a decade ago when the Remastered was released, and it's not like it was refined all that much, and to release it at $39.99, I just thought that was a little bit too expensive, around $10 too expensive. But now guess what? A couple months later, and Burnout Paradise Remastered is already down to $14.99, and this is an awesome price. I cannot turn down Burnout Paradise for this price, and it is a fantastic arcade racer. A lot of crashing, a lot of high-octane gameplay. Some of the gameplay design elements are a little bit dated, you can see that. For example, when you start a race event and you fail that race event, you have to go back all the way to the starting point. and that's just kind of some wasted time, so that's kind of unfortunate, but still the gameplay's awesome. It's got some great music in there. If you're into alternative rock, it's going to be right up your alley. And best of all, the music in the game is also adjustable, so you can disable and enable the songs that you want to listen to. It is a great game, and if you want a more casual racing game experience, I think Burnout Paradise Remastered is a great option at $14.99, awesome price. Next up, we have Gravity Rush Remastered as well as Gravity Rush 2. Gravity Rush Remastered is coming in at $10.49. Gravity Rush 2 is $12.99. Both of these are excellent price, and with the Gravity Rush Remastered, that's a game you almost have to exclusively get digital at this point because the physical copy of that game is very, very expensive. You're looking at paying north of $50 for that game. Yes, it went out of print, and now it's very expensive, so getting it digitally is your best option. Gravity Rush 2, in my opinion, is a much better game than Gravity Rush Remastered, but I would play both of the games. It's just that the first Gravity Rush was designed for the PlayStation Vita, so the limitations are obviously there. With Gravity Rush 2, built ground up for the PlayStation 4, the shackles completely come off, and it's a far bigger and better game. Unfortunately, both these titles didn't do all too well commercially, and I don't think a Gravity Rush 3 will ever happen, and Gravity Rush 2 just had its online service shut down, so that's very unfortunate for Gravity Rush. It deserved a lot better, but if you've yet to check out the games, I would highly recommend you to do so, especially at this price. Next up, we have Borderlands The Handsome Collection for $19.79. I wish Borderlands The Handsome Collection would be a little bit cheaper on the digital front. It's been this price for quite a while, but at the same time, how can you not recommend The Handsome Collection at this price? This gets you Borderlands 2 and Borderlands the pre-sequel along with a ton of DLC content, and what that essentially means is you can be busy with these games for a long time. Borderlands 2 and the DLC, if you just want to go through that one playthrough, that's probably going to take you at least 50 hours, probably longer than that, and then there is reason to go back and play through the game multiple times with the different characters. And I've always said, if you play Borderlands solo, it is still a great experience. How can you go wrong with a comedic first-person shooter RPG hybrid? It is a great game, and the characters are very engaging as well. Pre-sequel, I wouldn't say is as good of a game as Borderlands 2, but it's a pretty good game in its own right, and to get both those games, the DLC, $19.79, it's a great price for all the content you're getting. Speaking of collections, another highly renowned collection is Bioshock the Collection. That is also available for $19.79. This includes Bioshock, Bioshock 2, as well as Bioshock Infinite, one of the best new IPs that was created last generation. Unfortunately, after the Bioshock games last generation, we haven't seen the series make a comeback this generation, which is really unfortunate because every single Bioshock game has been absolutely tremendous. Yes, even Bioshock 2, which I know isn't everyone's favorite, but I still thought that was a very good game. Not as good as the first or Infinite, but those two games are two of the best games of last generation, so that doesn't say much. 2 is still a very good game, and with this collection, you get all 3 games. Not as much content as the Handsome Collection, but 3 very good single-player first-person shooters nonetheless, and $19.79 means that you get them for around $6 and change if my math is correct. That's a great price for Bioshock the Collection, and they run and play great on the PS4. Next up, we have The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition for $20. This price is regularly available during a PlayStation Store sale, but how can you not recommend The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition at this price point? It is a phenomenal game. Many will say it's the best RPG this generation thus far, and it really comes down to The Witcher 3 and Persona 5, and it really depends on whether you're more of a fan of Western RPGs or Japanese RPGs, and if you're a fan of the former, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt will be the game for you. Now, the Complete Edition does include both expansions, that's Hearts of Stone as well as Blood and Wine, and that adds a sizable amount of gameplay to an already content-filled experience. We're talking north of 100 hours of gameplay if you want to do everything, and what The Witcher 3 excels at is not only does it offer a lot of quantity, but it's all quality, and that's very hard to do in an open world experience. A lot of the content begins to get diluted, but what you'll notice about the content in The Witcher 3, it's all very well crafted and all of high quality. And if you want to just rush through the main story as well, you'll have a great time with that, and for $20 to get the experience that The Witcher 3 offers, it is absolutely worth it. There's a reason why so many gamers are excited for Cyberpunk 2077, and we have still yet to see gameplay of that title, but we're still stoked. It's because CD Projekt Red has created such a high pedigree for themselves, and The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt only added to that, and now for $20, it is an absolute must-buy. And lastly, we have Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration for $14.99. Now, Rise of the Tomb Raider was a game that the PlayStation 4 unfortunately saw a release a year later after the Xbox One version, but thankfully Square Enix did give us the 20-year celebration edition, which does include some extra content. There's a VR component, so if you're interested in that, that's something to take a look at. But most of all, it is still the great Rise of the Tomb Raider game. This is an awesome game, a great follow-up to the 2013 Tomb Raider title, and I thought it was better in every regard. A lot of the same fundamentally, but you do have a bigger world, and I did think the story was better. And now that you can get the game for $14.99, considering we are coming up on the release of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, now would would be as good of a time as any to give Rise of the Tomb Raider a look, and this will probably get you pretty excited for the next title, and at $14.99, it's a perfect price to check out a game that is a little bit on the shorter side. You can complete it rather quickly, but the entire time that you spend with Rise of the Tomb Raider, you will enjoy it very much. So that's gonna conclude this video. 10 great deals as a part of the PlayStation Store's Attack of the Blockbuster sale. Like I said, a lot of great deals available as a part of this sale. Honestly, we didn't even cover everything. There are a lot more great deals available, so have a look at the entirety of the sale for yourself, because there are so many deals to take advantage of. That's gonna wrap up this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. This video is sponsored by the fine folk over at SCD Keys. On this channel, we're always talking about saving money and getting great deals, and that's what you can do by picking up a $50 PlayStation Store card from SCD Keys. If you head over to their website, link is down below, and search for a $50 PlayStation Store card, you'll find it. Go ahead and add it to your card, and use our specialized promo code GC3 to save 3% on your order. That'll bring the cost of the card down to $46.64. You can check out and choose your method of payment. Your key will show up on your account, and boom, just like that, you got a $50 PSN card a little bit cheaper. Not only do they have great deals on PlayStation Store credit, they also have Windows 10 and other software heavily discounted, and you can get great deals on those as well. Again, check out the link to SCD Keys in the description box below.